Hello, everybody. No, this is not the age. This is not the on deck baseball podcast. I'm sorry. I've got to get that fixed. I'm still working on my intro. So eventually I will get that fixed and I'll have my own intro in Aging and Strong. I'm still new on this channel, Finns Talk Sports Network Extra. So as soon as I get that fixed, um, you'll definitely see a difference in the intro. But welcome. I'm Steve Molloy to Aging and Strong. Tonight we're going to talk about should I work out even if I tweak my back? Well, let me give you a brief little history on that first. But before I do that, I want to make mention for next week's show. Same time, same channel. I'm going to have Janet McDonald. McDonald. I believe it's McDonald. Sorry about that. I didn't get her name correctly, but I think it's Janet McDonald, and she is a senior fitness coach. She is also a healthy longevity advocate, and she will be on the show. And you can check out her podcast. It's called Aging Strong for Life. Aging Strong for Life. And she's also a senior bodybuilder. I must mention that as well. So, and she started her weightlifting, bodybuilding, strength training career in midlife. And so she'll be on the show, and I'll interview her, and she'll give you her background on exactly when she got started and how it has changed her life and how it can change your life as well. But tonight, I want to give you that brief history on should I work out if I tweak my back? Well, I've had back problems for a little while now. I guess it started in my 50s. I want to say mid 50s. Didn't require surgery or anything like that. Didn't rupture any type of disc or anything of that nature. I mean, it wasn't serious. But it's what it is aging, right? As we age, some of our, things are going to change in our body. Um, we've been living a long life, so we have wear and tear, right? And that's basically what it was: wear and tear from back sprains, from twisting my back, lifting heavy things the wrong way, stupid stuff. Even when I was younger, lifting things the wrong way, all that stuff catches up with you. Military. I was in the military for a little while, and a lot of stuff had popped up during that course of my career as well. So I got out in the military, went to a regular job, worked, and all that stuff like normal people. And now I'm retired. But I'm older now. I'm 66, be 67 in August. And so at about the age of 60, I started strength training, right? And all of you kind of know the brief history of I started on the starting strength program, and I've continued to do the starting strength program. Started off as a novice, then intermediate, and right now I'm I would still consider myself intermediate, somewhere in between intermediate and pushing towards advanced lifter. So once I started lifting weights, and I was a little hesitant about the starting strength program, a little bit hesitant because it required doing squats and deadlifts. A lot of folks have a fear of squats and deadlifts, and rightly so. If you don't do it correctly, proper form, you can hurt yourself. Okay, but it's very rare. It's very rare. Once you start off, you ease into it. You start off with light weights and progressively overload. add more weight to it, and you get stronger. Um, and you work on your form. I'm not saying perfect, right? You don't have to be perfect, but it has to be, it has to be a good form, right? As best as you can do. Um, so and people have that fear of squats because they have arthritic knees, or they've had knee surgeries, things of that nature. Um, and then of course with the deadlifts, same thing, right? Um, they've had knee injuries, back problems, severe back problems. Now, if you have a severe back problem, you've had herniated disc, or a ruptured disc, or anything, other than anything more than just wear and tear, right? Just natural wear and tear, or sprains, or tweaked your back and things like that, then you definitely need to get checked. You need to go to a doctor. Look, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nutritionist. I'm just your average Joe, right? That has been, working out now with strength training for 7 years. I'm sharing my experiences with you. Okay. Um, but yeah, so I can understand that fear. Okay. And there's other ways of, if you do have those issues, right, where you've had a herniated disc, or you really have severe back problems, or even really bad knee issues, really bad arthritic knees and things like that, there's a way of working around it. There's things you can do and still get strong. But I'm not going to, this show is not for that. I'm not going to get into that. I'm going to get into tweaking your back, right? Now, when I say tweaking your back, I mean someone that has maybe lifted some weights and they're in their 50 plus, and maybe their form was off just a little bit, and they tweaked their back a little bit. Nothing serious, but just enough to irritate your back. You get stiffness, a little pain, hard to move, and things like that. Now, the reason why I'm bringing all this up for is I want to share this with you because of in my experiences. Number one, once I started that weightlifting program, that strength training program, um, I started off with lightweight and worked my way up. My back got stronger, my tendons, my bones, bone density got a lot more, I got more strong and stuff like that, stronger bones. Um, my back issues disappeared. They basically disappeared. Um, Other than the regular wear and tear of an older guy like me, right? Every once in a while they get a little stiff, or things like that. But I remember times where I used to garden and things of that nature. And I'd go, I'd bend over and my back it'd be stiff and it would just hurt, for a while. Sometimes, depending on how much, I worked in the garden, or whatever what would have been that irritated the back. It could have been a week or 2 weeks, right? Stiff, couldn't get out of bed in the morning, and it was just, kind of pain. But anyway, that has all disappeared since I've gotten my back stronger. That's number one. If you don't have any kind of really severe back problems or knee problems, as I said earlier, and you do a strength training program, especially if it entail squats and deadlifts, that's the best thing you can do for your back, for your knees, all that, for your core. But anyway, that's not the lesson here today. The lesson is, if you tweak your back, should I continue to work out? And the reason I bring this up today is because it happened to me just last week. I was working out, doing my regular routine, and I was doing deadlifts, and I don't I was doing that particular day. I was maxing my deadlift, right? I usually do one set and I max as much as I can lift, right? So I max it out. And now, when I say max it out, I don't mean in the sense that I was, uh, doing a 1 rep max. No, not that at all. I never do that. I never try to do a 1 rep max. When I say max for me at my age, I'm talking about 3 reps. Okay. So that's probably about 90 to 95%, give or take, of my maximum effort, my maximum set, right? And I guess I was a little tired, had a busy day, and my mind just wasn't, to be honest, I didn't really wanna work out that day. I just didn't feel like doing it. I was, I'm just gonna do my max, my maximum effort squat, excuse me, deadlift, and, maybe I'll skip it. But no, I decided to go ahead and do it, but I was a little tired. I really wasn't into it. Just wasn't really motivated to do that particular workout that day. But I did it anyway. I said, "You know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and do it anyway." So my mind really wasn't into it. My body, your mind and body you have to be in sync, right? And it just wasn't. But in my mind, I said, "All right, I'm gonna go ahead and do this max set for me, which was 3 reps of a certain amount of poundage." And so went on ahead and I lifted it. I got it up, and the first rep went a little. I was grinding, went a little. It took a little while to get it up. Then the second rep, I kind of lost I could feel it. I kind of lost my concentration. My form was off a little bit, and when I lifted it, I felt a little tweak in my back, right? I said, "Okay." And this is one thing when you start lifting weights, you get to very familiar with your body, right? And I said, "No, this doesn't feel right. I'm not I'm not gonna do another rep." So basically, I got it about halfway up, and then I just let it down. And when I let it down, I felt my back, a little stiffness, tightness in my back. Tightness, I guess, is the proper word for it. Little tightness in my back, and I knew right then that I did something wrong. And when I lifted up, I could feel a little pain in my back, right? Not excruciating pain, but just enough to where it was like, "Oh man, I don't feel good." And so I stopped for that day, and I what I normally do when I tweak my back like that is the best thing that I found for me, and maybe this would be something that you could do as well if you ever do kind of tweak your back or something like that by working out or whatever at the job, whatever whatever you're doing. If you tweak your back, the best thing that I found, if you're not lifting weights, right, which I suggest that you do strength training. That way, those issues will not pop up as often, right? Um, it was hurting. It was kind of hurting for a couple days, 2 or 3 days, and so after that, my rest days, which was about 3 days. And now when I say rest days, I don't mean I'm laying on the couch all day or eating potato chips. You know what I mean? Rest days are kind of active for me. I went on ahead and for those 3 days, I basically did some walking around, maybe a mile and a half or so, right? It kind of loosened up the back, got the blood flowing in there, helped with the healing and all that. But it was still a little tight and all that. I could still feel it. Now, normally, a lot of folks, what they will do is they'll just lay they'll get bed rest or something. They'll just lay in the bed, or they'll just be real ginger and gentle with it all day and all that kind of stuff. No, that's the worst thing you can do. That doesn't help in the healing process at all. Unless it's really, really something serious, serious. You just can't get out of bed at all. Then that's the time you need to call someone, right? Your doctor or something, and set up an appointment and get it checked out. But I know, like I said, I've been doing this for 7 years now. I knew my body, so I knew exactly what it is. I did it before, once before, right? It's gonna happen on occasion, right? If you're strength training, you're gonna tweak, your back a little bit, maybe once in a while, maybe your neck, maybe your shoulder, maybe you did a little too much, whatnot. You have to know your body, right? That's one thing you have to do. If something doesn't feel right, stop. Don't try to do it. Just stop right there. If you don't feel something's a little off, right? Number 1, I probably shouldn't have lifted that day because my mind wasn't into it. I was already tired. Mind and body connection just wasn't there, So I probably shouldn't have done it anyway, but I went ahead and did it. But anyway, so I did the walking. It helped a lot. And then when it came to my day to work out, um, I went through my workout, my normal routine, right? I started off with squats. Now, what I did do is I lowered the weight on the bar, right? I lowered the weight on the bar on my squat. I lowered it by about 10%. Okay. I lowered the weight for about 10% for that work day, right? And and it felt pretty good, right? I was able to go down, and do my squat and then come back up. I felt a little tightness in the back, but there was no pain or anything like that. If I would have felt any kind of sharp pain or anything, I wouldn't have done it, right? I would have just either lowered the weight and tried that, or just said, you know what, I won't do the squat that day. I'll just move on to the next exercises, right? But I went through that progression of doing my exercises and everything. And I didn't do I didn't do the deadlift that day. Okay. Only because I wasn't projected to do the deadlift that day. I think I did some and also well, I was scheduled to do some rows, right? Some barbell rows. I didn't do them because I tried doing the row, and I could feel it in my back. I could feel a little tweak, a little tenderness, a little tightness. I said, you know what? I'm not going to do the row. So what I did to alternate the row is I did chin ups. When I did my chin ups, no problem. I didn't feel any pain or anything like that. In fact, it might have helped out because when I do my chin ups, I go all the way up and then I come all the way down, full stretch. So my lower back was getting stretched, right? So that probably helped. And I think I did 6 sets. Yeah, I did. I did 6 sets of chin ups. Okay. And I was fine. I was fine. And my actually after I did my chin ups and after I did my routine, I felt pretty good. My back actually loosened up a little bit. It didn't feel as tight. I didn't feel any kind of pain or anything like that. So, um, what's today? Today's Thursday. So yesterday was the day that I did the deadlifts again. Okay, another max of deadlifts. And again, when I say max, 95% of my maximum set of deadlifts. And I went on ahead and I put on I put on 5 more pounds than I did the previous week that I did the deadlifts. And I lifted the first one up. My now, grant you, I was well rested. I hadn't, I was pretty well rested. I felt really good. My head was in the game. So I felt good. Again, you have to know your body, right? And that comes with experience with doing the strength training. Okay, you get very familiar with your body. So I went on ahead and I lifted that first rep up, and it felt great. Put it down, paused a second or two, and went up with the second one. Felt good. Everything was clicking, was in sync. Didn't feel any kind of stiffness in my back. No kind of pain. Nothing. Did a third rep. Felt great. Did really well. And that comes with experience of knowing your body, right? And I was pretty happy about it. And today I feel great. I have no issues with my back, um, no tenderness, no stiffness, tightness, any of that. And I actually went for a walk yesterday after that deadlift. Went for another mile and a half walk. Um, and Now today I didn't do a walk. I didn't do a walk today. I was been pretty busy running errands and things of that nature, and I didn't find the time to fit it in today. No excuse, I know. It happens. But anyway, guys, and ladies, I just wanted to share that with you tonight. I felt that was something that it was an experience that I had, and this channel is called Aging and Strong. And so I felt that would be a good topic to talk about tonight. Right. So if you all tweak your back, again, if it's just, a tweak, you pulled it a little bit, maybe a little muscle spasm or anything like that, and you'll know, right? If the seriousness of it. Go ahead and work out, guys. Do a little walking or get on the bike or whatever, if that's your thing. Whatever you can do, don't just lay around. Even if as long as you can walk and you can get up, and yeah, sure, you might have a little tightness, maybe a little tenderness, it might little, a little bit of pain, but you got to move. You got to move around. You've got to, the best thing I like I said that I found is walking. And about a mile, half mile. If you can't do a half mile, then do 3 or 4 blocks, whatever you can do. Just walk. Stay active and get that blood flowing, and everything, and get those, get your muscles moving, and that helps with the healing process. And work out. And if you have to work around it, do it, but don't just skip, your workout because, you tweaked your back, right? You may not be able to do the deadlift. You may not be able to squat. There's other things you can do that might not be as that will not irritate whatever might be. If it's your knee, if your back or whatever, you can work around it. There's alternate exercises. You can go, you can Google, alternate exercises to the deadlift or alternate exercise to the squat, and there's some suggestions in there. You might only be able to do some body weight squats, but at least it's something. You're getting that, you're staying active, you're getting the blood going, and you're getting the muscles moving and all that, and tendons, and you're getting, and it's helping with the healing process. Okay. I mean, if you hurt your back and you go to therapy, what do? A physical therapist, they basically do a lot of that stuff, right? That I just said, other than the strength training, as far as weights, dumbbells and things like that. They might use that stuff. But yeah, just wanted to give you that tip. I hope it helps. And again, next week, same time, same channel here, at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Fins Talk Sports Extra Network will be Janet McDonald. Again, she's a senior active bodybuilder. She's a healthy longevity advocate, and she's a certified strength coach as well. And she's going to give you some really good information next week, please. And it's a female, right? It's a female. So she's going to give you that perspective, that point of view from the female perspective. And also, I believe she's probably going to kill me if I tell you her age, but she's 70 years old. 70 years old, but you wouldn't know it by looking at her. Go to her podcast, Aging Strong for Life. Aging Strong for Life. Check it out. And she has some great information for the 50 plus population as well. And so she will be on this show next week. I know you're going to enjoy it. Tell everybody that that you think that might be interested in something like this type of show, right? Aging and Strong for the 50 plus population. See you next week. God bless. Later. And stay strong.